What you're going to be building is a Hollywood style flat. Hollywood means that the framing, instead of laying flat, is standing up on the edge. Reason we build it like that is if you need to stand your flat up, you now have a solid base to stand. You have this hard structure that you can screw down into the floor. It is a much sturdier way of building scenery. The differences, though, between a Hollywood and a Broadway, there are no keystones and corner blocks in a Hollywood flat, because you don't need it. Broadway flats are traditionally covered in muslin, which is a fabric. Hollywoods are covered with luan, some kind of a wood surface. So the wood gives you the rigidity in those joints. It helps hold it all together, so you don't need those extra components. All the other names and terminology, though, are the same. So what are the top and the bottom of your flat?
Rails.
Rails. Yep, you need your rails. What are the sides?
Styles.
Stiles. So you need stiles. What's the one in the middle? Toggle. So you need a toggle. Those are all the parts that you need to build a basic flat. The larger the flat, the more toggles you will need, because the toggles keep the stiles from bowing inward or cupping outward, so it keeps it all straight in line with the sheet good that it's meant to attach to. Make sense? Cool. Okay. We're going to move a couple things out of the way so we can do this, because you're not going to build it on the surface of your luan, because you're going to be gluing. You don't want to be gluing and working, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm stuck to the thing I didn't want to be stuck to. Work on the sacrificial layer, the tabletop surface. And you're going to be using this tool. Does everyone remember what it is? Pneumatic stapler. All right. When you're doing your framing, you're going to use the large staples, the 1.25 inches. Because you're shooting through 3/4 inch of material into another 3/4 inch. So you need at least 3/4 inch to go through this, but then you need the same amount going into the other side. You could use 1 inch, but you're only going to have a itty bitty little bit of it sticking in there. That is not enough to help hold it. You need that extra length to hold while the glue dries, because you have to use glue. Staples are not meant for long-term work. They will just eventually wiggle themselves out. The glue is what really does all the work for you. So you can do glue however you feel comfortable. I usually use my finger, because I always have at least 10 of them running around. Hopefully only 10. If there's more, we have a problem.
Or less.
Or less, we also have a problem. So I always put glue just on the surface of here. You can put it on the end of your board, whichever. It does not matter which one you do, whatever you're comfortable with. If you put it on the end of your board, you know that you're only going to get glue where you need it. If you put it on here, you may spread it out into places that you don't need it, and then you just have extra glue. I take my finger and kind of wipe it around on there so it spreads out all over the edge, because the more surface area that has glue to it, the better adhesion and contact it's going to have. So lay it down, get your boards, line up your corner. Make sure that you have them lined up correctly, so it's not sitting in like this, because if you put it like this and put it on your flat, oh no, it doesn't fit right. I see you have this to reference. So always make sure it's good. How many of you know the term flush? Most of you? Cool. Flush is where two joints come together and they make a perfectly smooth surface. So one side isn't sticking out, which is proud, or it's not sticking in short, which is shy. You always want to be flush. Get it flushed up nice and pretty. Keep your fingers a safe distance away from where you are shooting, okay? Get your gun lined up with it. You're going to want to make sure that you're running in line with the joint that you're shooting. If you're going this way, that's in line with the board. You want in line with the joint, because if you're this way, a prong can stick out the side. Get it in, line up, 1, 2. 2 shots. That's all you need for this. You don't need 5, 10, 20. 2 shots. 1 might be sufficient, but 1 you can still twist. 2 gives it a top and bottom lock, so it's hard to rotate it. Does that make sense? Cool. Then you repeat that process on all of your joints. And make sure I grab the right boards. You can label your boards if you want to, just so you know, oh, these are my stiles, these are my toggles, this is my rail, so you don't get it confused. I typically don't, but I almost just did. And make sure you're on a flat surface when you slide that a little, because if it's sitting up on there, I'm now sitting at a weird angle. So get it as flat as you can, flushed up. If you need to turn it around, be gentle. don't whip it around because those glue joints are still wet. They're going to take a minute or two to set. That just fell on the floor. Thanks for grabbing them. Appreciate it. Do I have the correct? I do. Now, with a Broadway flat, you have to worry about setting everything square. You all know what square means, yeah? Where everything, you have nice 90-degree corners. With most Hollywoods, you're going to be squaring it to your sheet good. So you don't need to have a square with you as you're going around.
It's not the right size board.
Did I grab the shorty? Oh, no, this is just, it's spread open at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it's the same as the one in here. We're going to flex that over to match up. Because there's a little bit of play in it. Bring that over. Just like that. So that's your outer frame. It's going to be a little wiggly. This is what's going to keep it from doing the wiggly when we get there. So next is your toggle. Where does the toggle want to go?
Middle,
In the middle. How do you find middle?
measure.
Measure. So it'll be good to have a tape measure with you. Ooh, and this is a fun, weird size. We're going to rough center. So I know I need to be centered up here. Just like that. Still need to get the glue in there though. So don't get too far of yourself and get it in there and go, oh, it's perfect. No, I still need glue. I've built a couple flats where I forgot to glue in the toggle and then went to move it and go, why'd that break? Oh, because I forgot the glue. Yeah, see, I wipe it on the table. Alan hates it when I do that. Get it lined up. My line is roughly center with this. Sometimes it's really important where these get placed because there may be things hanging from them. So if there's a denotation to tell you it must be this far up, put it in that spot. Like Alan said, draftspeople put it there for a reason. Okay, and that's that part. So you now have a frame. It needs a face. The face is only 3/4 of an inch thick. Do you need 1.5 inch long staples?
No.
No. How long do you think you need? Inch would work. It would. You can go a little shorter. Commonly, we use 3/4 inch. They make shorter than this, but shorter than this going through the 1/4 inch isn't super useful. 3/4 is kind of the standard that you use when you're going through 1/4 inch lumber. So disconnect from your air. Remove your staples. To remove the staples, you pull this clip down and it locks into place. This just slides out. Slide the next one in. Push this little button in the back and it will slide up to it. So that way it keeps pressure pushing the staples up into the machine. And put it back on. Okay, Luan. Luan has a rough side, which if you can feel this is really rough and textury. This is a smooth side. Which side do you want out? Smooth. Painters will love you if you always put the smooth side out. If you become the carpenter that doesn't put the smooth side out, painters quickly request that you stop building flats. But you need the glue.
Glue is free.
And you can put glue on kind of any which way, like you can do the squiggle. Pretend it's mustard. Just make sure, though, that you still spread it out. And if you don't want to use your fingers, we usually have enough scrap wood floating around the shop that you can use a board. You can use a piece of paper, get a piece of cardboard, con one of your friends into doing it because you just want them to do it instead of you. Now, this is a little trick that will help you. On the outside where these staples are, just go ahead and give yourself a pencil mark. It'll make, there's a reason that you'll see here in a moment. Okay. Ooh, I got glue on the pencil. All right, lay your lid on top. Line up your short edge first. Like, if this was longer, we wouldn't worry about that yet. Always line up your short side and get it nice and flush. Start at a corner. Just put in one staple. Then kind of work your way along. Nicely with this, if this wasn't flush on this edge, like if it was sticking out, I can still wiggle this around on here until I get it lined up. If it's bowing inward, like the board underneath, still line that up because you're going to pull it down to the edge. So when you go to screw it down, it has a flat surface. It's not going to try to flex it. Lumber comes in all different colors. Try to force the lumber to your will. So usually you'd have a staple about every 8 inches-ish, 8 inches to a foot. It really depends. Right now our bottom is nice and flush. Our sides are not. This side is sticking out, so it's proud, and that side's shy. We flex it over and start working up the long edge. So on this side, I'm getting it nice and flush. Down all the way to the corner here, and I have forced it into where I want. And now this side should be really close to flush, because it's going to flex it over. Looks like maybe our frame was just a tick long on one end, which that is not going to be any of y'all's fault. That'll be some of the carpenters in the shop fault. Okay, so we got there, spin it around. Unfortunately, this is part of what I was talking about with some of the lumber being cut incorrect. The lid is overhanging a little bit. You're still going to want to attach to this. We're going to try to get that corrected for you. You have a couple options. You can use a speed square. You can get a ruler, some long straight edge. Line it up to about the middle of the rail. Just draw yourself a line. Go through the other side. Draw yourself a line. And that should give you enough. Now if I shoot right about there, I'm not going to shoot outside the frame or inside the frame. Because if you're outside or inside, those are pokey stabbies. Carpenters really hate it when they go to pick up a piece of scenery and they get a nail under their fingernail. It's very unpleasant. All right, now the 2 marks that I made on the side are so I can find the toggle and staple into it. You can use this. Kind of line it up to it, same thing. And if your flat has been built square, where your parts line up to each other, you should be able to just shoot and shoot, and those should not have shot out the backside. You should hit into your toggle. You always have to staple into your toggles. It is a really common mistake that people do. Oh, the frame's good, and they don't do this part. Luan is a very imperfect lumber. When it gets painted, it sometimes can bubble and push out, and so it will lift away from those toggles. And then you get a gap, and then you have a flat that's going smooth, smooth, bubble, and it looks weird. No amount of paint or light or luck or love will make that look perfect ever again. So if you build it right the first time and then it goes into installation, it's going to look good through the whole process. Does that all make sense to everybody? Yeah? Yes?
Question, what happens if you ended up stapling in the wrong place? How do you go about getting the staple out? Sorry if that's a really...
That's a really good question. Hammer.
A hammer?
A
Just
hammer.
pull it out?
Hammer and a pry bar is a tool that you can get in. Like, if you get these 2 joints together, let me grab these from down here. Maybe make more sense. If by chance you staple these together and you haven't put the facing on, you could grab them and flex them apart. Take a hammer to tap it out, and we have some tools that can cut off the staples. I highly doubt any of you are going to do it, but it does happen. It happens to all of us. I've built things where I went, oh no, I put the toggle where the rail is supposed to go. Poop. So it happens. If you get all the way here and you've put the face on and you realize, wait, something is very wrong. We got to try to bang the facing off. So it's hitting it from the backside. That face piece may not survive. Hopefully it will. Depends how aggressive you are hammering, though. Did I answer it?
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone good? Any other questions? Yeah.
So when we go to build ours, we're not gonna have to cut any of the wood?
Correct. All of your lumber has been pre-cut for you and will just set up at stations. When you are done, though, we'll probably have wipes in the area just so you can wipe your tool down for the next person that comes in, just as a courtesy, kind of, polite thing to do. Any other questions? Yeah.
On average, how many students get a staple through their finger each year during this project?
This is actually the first time we've done it in this configuration. When we've been building the Broadway, we haven't had a single student shoot themselves in the finger. And that's been for the past 20 years.
So don't be the first.
Yeah, don't be the first. I honestly,
Not a challenge.
no, and I can tell you, I have never shot myself with a staple, and I've been doing this almost 30 years. Any other questions?
You're conscious of where you're putting your hands when you're stapling.
Yeah,
You
just
never-
pay attention. And it takes 2 seconds of pay attention to save yourself a trip to the hospital. Now, accidents will happen. It just happens because they're accidents. They're not intentional. Good? Yeah? No other questions? Guess what that means? Coffee time. Bye.
I have a question.